Welcome back, everyone. I'm Setharoth, and today we're going to be diving into what I consider to be one of the most fundamental mods in any load order. It is called RaceMenu. This particular mod is designed to flesh out the character development options that you have when building a new character. So if you hop on the Nexus and you see a whole bunch of presets popping up under followers or body alterations, this is one of the fundamental mods that are used to create those presets. And we're just going to get into some of the unique features of RaceMenu and why it is so much fun. I have seen some players, for example, that will spend an hour or two crafting the perfect character for a playthrough just because there's so many options on RaceMenu that it is very easy to lose yourself in the process. Alright, so obviously we are still on the Lost Legacy mod list, which adds in a couple of extra things like, for example, custom races, which we're not going to be discussing because for the RaceMenu is just a basic mod that you can fit into just about any load order to allow you to customize your characters. I'm going to leave the custom races for another video because they are still a lot of fun and definitely video worthy. But right now we're just going to get used to the mechanics of RaceMenu just to give you an idea of what you'll be looking at. So with RaceMenu, you have the standard options, obviously, that we're all familiar with from the Skyrim vanilla version. However, depending on the kind of mods that you run, you can actually, let's see, I'm not sure what kind of character mods this guy is running, so it's probably better to use, I've noticed that a lot of the mods that add presets and customizations tend to lean towards Imperial and Breton races. I don't know why, but I figured when we're dealing with customizations, we'll start there. So we've got our Breton, we've got a number of options here. Obviously you've got your plethora of scars and war paints. You can find mods to basically add options to almost any of these if you go deep enough into the Nexus. But you can definitely find mods to give you more war paint varieties, more scars. RaceMenu breaks this down into so many different controls for every feature of a humanoid's physique. I mean, it's enough that you've got 30 different nose types for the male Breton alone. But you also have laugh lines, which are kind of redundant given the beard, maybe cheekbone height. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's obvious. That's almost perpetually smiling. So one of the fun things to do with RaceMenu is you just grab these sliders and start dragging and just figure out what each one of them does. Generally speaking, that is the fastest way to get used to what this thing was. I did not expect that. Okay, that is you could do a lot with this. I can make a cone head or no head. All neck, no neck. All neck, no neck. Okay, sorry, moving on. Anyway, so we're gonna have to pick a guy with no beard. Where can I get rid of the beard? The beard! We need different facial hair that allows me to get it clear. Okay, alright. I just needed to see more of the face that I am alterating. Like the jaw height, that's kind of more tweaking the jowls. So, I mean, this is probably the best way to make a laughable, not serious character. Just dial all of these sliders up to crazy high numbers and see what you end up with. Oh no. Sorry, serious face. But it also allows you to make very detailed, very fine alterations. So for example, this nose area depth allows you to go by, what is this, like a 1/10 of a percent, a 1/10 of a percent? You can be very, very subtle on how much distinct changes you want with all of these different settings, allowing you to make a very distinct character. This is also how you would go about building the background or playing around to figure out what your favorite preset would be. Although I think those you would actually make on the creation kit because it's a little easier to save what you built with that. But as you can see, we've got menus for everything. With me, I always bring in some eye color mods because there's usually some pretty cool options. The modder here has gone with some much more vivid colors that really bring out the eyes. They have kind of a subtle glow to them, but not overwhelming. That's where I would like to improve. Most of my eye mods are like little beacons going off in your face, which to me just radiates awesome power. But this does give you a little more personality than just like glowing oblivion colored eyes. Can't argue with that. We also have the options of adding in eyeshadow and a number of other features. This is RaceMenu. I'm pretty sure vanilla Skyrim didn't have 20, what is this, 25? I'm just gonna, yeah, 25, maybe 30 different controls just for the eyes. Only modders would go this deep just to get the eyes right. Particularly for a character that 90% of the time is going to be wearing a helmet that covers the eyes anyway. But that is what we modders do. We go above and beyond and go an insane amount of detail. I think this is 40, maybe 50 different controls just for the face. I love it. There's so much you can do with modding. And oh yes, of course, 10 different controls for the eyebrows. Oh yes, angry face, very sad face. Angry face, very sad face. Oh, cool. So you've got plenty of options within RaceMenu. Obviously, there's some hair mods at work here. Actually, this is kind of cool because it gives you a little readout. If you see when I go through the slider, the bottom right corner, it'll give you the name of the resource and the mod it came from. That, I don't think, is a RaceMenu feature. I think that's part of the user interface, so I would have to dig around a bit to figure that out. But the KS Hairdos mod is one of the standard mods that you'll see being used by a lot of the different presets out there, because it just gives you so many options. And this is just for the guys. You know what? I might as well show you what you can do with a female. Okay, we're going to pick a pretty one. You'll do. Okay, where's the hair? There we go. Okay, yes, there's 868 different hairstyles. Again, that is largely from KS Hairdos. It brings in like 750 something. But yeah, so this is where RaceMenu and then the mods that are attached to it can give you just a ridiculous variety of character creation options that you can just lose yourself in. Extra is a fun little feature. Let's see, can we zoom in? Zoom in! Okay, now we're going to have to pick a different hairstyle now. Off the face. Something nice and... Okay, that'll do. Alright, so this is pretty cool. The extra feature actually grabs the distinct features that make each of these races look unique, and then you can add in or take away a percentage of those features. So remember, this is a Breton character, so let's go ahead and give her a touch of Wood Elf and see what that would look like. Or make her very, very not Wood Elf and see what that would look like. So this is kind of a cool feature if you wanted to try and make someone that had a heritage that was mixed. So if you had an Imperial, but she had a little bit of High Elf in her, you could literally make any racial combination you wanted to, or just randomly pull all the sliders and see what you get. Oh, we are terrible people. That is horrible. Okay, let's try and return her to some sense of normalcy. Not because she's going to be looking normal by the time we're done, but because this next feature is what really allows you to do customization. Oh yes, there's also a similar feature for expressions. So if I wanted her to constantly be in a state of combat anger, I could flip that slider. If I wanted to put her in a combat shout, I could use that slider. There's all sorts of different expressions. You could give her a touch of happy, which again, the subtlety of RaceMenu is what I really appreciate, because they do such a good job of catching different. Why does she have such a fat face? I'm confused. Why does she have such a fat face? I don't know. Okay, apparently I missed something up. Anyway, so the expressions gives you an interesting option. Oh, geez. You can have your character perpetually looking in one direction, or always having a certain expression, always looking constipated, whatever your character preference is. When you get into colors, makeup, and body paints, those are going to have to do a lot more with the other mods that you bring into RaceMenu, so they're not going to be able to help you a whole lot until you figure out what kind of presets you're running and what kind of textures and other tools you want to bring in. RaceMenu also allows you to implement presets. All you have to do there is click the preset tab and then either F9 or click load preset. And if you look in the upper left menu where it says head parts, that will let you know the gender and race that the preset is intended for. That's very important, because if I pick male Argonian, it's going to assign the male Argonian features to my female Breton, and then everything looks absolutely terrible. The way you fix that, by the way, is just switch to a different race. That's the way it should work anyway. Please undo. Please undo. Oh no, I changed the gender. There we wait. Okay, apparently we're just going with a big head. You know what? Let's go with the Argonian preset. That'll fix it. Load the presets. Okay, that should fix it. This is where things get fun, because we also have the sculpt feature, which automatically creates a 3D rendering of the character. There we go. So it's right click to turn her, and then left click to adjust. You can click and drag, and then depending on the tool that you're using here, that is what's going to even more subtly or drastically change what you want to do. So let's say, for example, we want to inflate the radius of what I'm clicking, and I dial the strength up to an insane amount. Let's go with her nose, shall we? We can now create a polygonal nose effect that is absolutely terrifying. We can do that out of her chin too. I'm only using these extreme examples because I am not an artist. I am not going to try to be an artist. I'm just going to show you what the tools do, and then you can decide for yourself what you want to do with them. So we're going to switch back to deflate, and we are going to deflate these points back to some semblance of normal. I don't know of how close to normal we can get, but we will try. But basically, any of the spots where these lines intersect creates a vertice that you can actually interact with. You can change anywhere where the points interact, and you can change anywhere where the lines interact, where they touch, and from there you can drag those lines anywhere you want. And obviously, if you're being more artistic with it, you would be very subtle about where you put those. But for just purposes of demonstration, you can do a whole lot and move a whole lot of the character without even using the sliders, and come up with a very unique design that no one else could come up with because they don't have the same thing in mind that you have. As for the other tools here, mask add, mask subtract. Let's at least see what that does. Is that, I'm thinking, all right, I don't know what mask add and subtract does. But smooth is good for smoothing out sharp edges. It's very subtle. Now we'll dial up the strength and see if that helps. Yeah, there we go. So that's cleaning up her nose, smoothing out all the straight edges. But now I'm overdoing it, so I think the nose might just be about to disappear. Yep, the nose has been smoothed down to a fine nothing. We're going to end up with a ghoul from Fallout 4 if we keep going. And then we have the move feature, which is more of a drag in the lateral direction, left to right, rather than like 3D vertical. So does that mean we could like move our eyebrows? Oh yeah, we're pulling up the eyelashes themselves. That's fun. You hit 7 to clear sculpt, that'll reset. And there's a number of other tools. I am by no means a master of this, but I wanted to take some time, give you guys some RaceMenu options so that when you're about to do your 50 to 100 hour playthrough of Skyrim, you can spend a couple solid hours just experimenting with all of the different tools and sliders to create the perfect character. 90% of the tools are all designed to optimize the face, which will likely be covered up by a helmet unless you're using the Ordinator Perks mod, because there is a perk there for light armor and heavy armor that allows you to still increase the armor while not wearing headgear, which is a really nice touch when you are creating, like your own custom look that you want to be able to see for the whole thing, rather than staring at the Daedric helmet of Ball for the last half of your playthrough, or what have you. Alrighty, I haven't used the camera tool much, but I do like the idea of being able to get a good view of everything you're working with without all the sliders and all these distractions getting in the way. Other than that, there's a couple features down here at the bottom. Probably should mention that first. You can turn a light on if you want to do some detail work, or turn it off if you want to see what the character will look like in normal light. I usually go light off, just because it's easier to see the details. Light on tends to just wash everything out and make it harder to see what you're doing. But that's just me. All right, thank you for joining me on this race menu demonstration. Now, this is a fundamental mod. It's in basically every load order I've ever seen. Definitely a key to any mod list if you want to do any kind of a custom build for your character, or even if you want to load some interesting presets. We just did a Halloween playthrough, not playthrough, but a couple Halloween mods last month, and this is definitely a tool you could use to create a Halloween themed character, or just download a Halloween themed preset and dive on in. All right, with that, thank you guys very much for accompanying me on this little dip into RaceMenu. I hope you guys have enjoyed learning a little bit about character customization, and may you come up with some fantastic combinations of character designs to use on your own. In the meanwhile, feel free to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.